Good morning, everyone. My name is Amber Sawyer, and I'm here today at Cornerstone Crossing Retreat in Mayville, Wisconsin. I'm here showcasing my brand new book, Love to Race, which is about my harness racing standardbred Derek Bromack N. The book was written by myself and was illustrated by my friend Tammy Jo DeLeese, who lives in Reeseville, Wisconsin. So we like to keep everything local. It was published by Nico 11 Publishing in Mugwanago. Hi, Mike. I'd like to read a few pages of the book to you right now. The book is dedicated to my dad. Every little girl always dreams of having a horse, and my dad made sure that I always had that dream my entire life. So this book is narrated by my horse, Derek Bromack, and I'm going to read a few pages for you right now. My name is Derek Bromack N. My name ends with the letter N because I was born a long way from here in New Zealand. How did I get to Wisconsin? Well, that's a pretty good story, and I'd love to tell it to you. I was born in the year 2000 at a place called Bromack Farms, and the owners there raced baby racehorses. When I was only 2 years old, I got to start racing. I'm a breed of horse called a standardbred, which is a special kind of horse just for harness racing. I pull a cart called a sulky, and the person that sits behind me is called the driver. I was racing so well in New Zealand that I was sold to a person in California. One day, I got on an airplane with some of my friends from Bromack Farms, and we flew to the United States and California. Not many horses can say that they've been on an airplane, but I have. After racing there for a few years, I was sold, and this time I had to move 3,000 miles away to the other side of the country. I won lots of races for many people in my years of racing, and I've raced in 12 different states. When I was 13 years old, I met a very special person, and his name was Peter, and we lived in Ohio. He loved me very much and took very good care of me, but one day something bad happened. I was racing, and the race was almost over, and all of a sudden my front legs started to hurt very, very bad. And it was so painful for me as I limped off the racetrack. As soon as I got back to the barn, Peter and a veterinarian looked at my leg, and there was bad news. He said that I might never race again. 13 years old is very old for a racehorse, but I loved racing so much. I was so sad. Where would I go? What would I do? And most importantly, would I ever be able to race again? My friend Peter wanted to find me someone who would give me a great home and take care of me and take the time to fix my legs so that I could get back to doing what I loved most, was being a racehorse. I would have to rest for a long time, but I didn't care because I loved racing so much. Peter told me that I was going to live in Wisconsin with a little boy named Paul and his mom and his grandpa. Paul was going to be my new owner. Now, I've had a lot of different people who owned me, but this was very different. You see, I was 13 and Paul was only 8. I was going to be Paul's first horse, and he was going to help his mom fix my leg. Oh, how I hoped that they could. It took almost a year for my leg to get better, but I got in a horse trailer and was taken to my first race in over a year and a half. I was so excited but very nervous. Would I do any good? Would my leg be okay? Would I be able to beat any horses? Now I was 14 years old. There aren't many horses, and the other horses in the race were so much younger than me. Not many horses my age are still racing. Before I knew we were at a racetrack, but this one wasn't like any track that I had ever been to before. There were Ferris wheels, rides, games, balloons, and people everywhere. Paul could tell I was very nervous, so he came to pet me and told me that we were at a county fair. I had never seen one before. All the other all my other races had been very serious with professional drivers and people coming in to bet on me, and I was waiting for my turn to race, little kids from the fair kept coming up to pet me. They were wishing me good luck and giving me treats, and everyone was smiling and laughing, and we were having a wonderful time. And Paul's mom was going to drive me in the race. I wasn't nervous anymore. I could smell all the wonderful smells of cotton candy and corn dogs from the Midway. I loved my new life. This was fun. Now I was going to have to try even harder in that race so I could get to another county fair. I wanted to make Paul proud of me and to show that veterinarian that I could race again. And guess what? I finished third in my race that day. Paul gave me hugs and lots of carrots after the race was over, and it felt so good to be a racehorse again. I traveled to lots of county fairs that summer with Paul and his family, and I made lots of new friends at the races, and I loved to listen to them cheer for me in the grandstand while I raced. Summer ended, and when winter came, I was able to rest. The next summer came, and I looked forward to more county fairs. Now I was 15 years old. Not many horses can still race at my age. In fact, I was the oldest racehorse in the entire country. I knew I would have to work even harder this summer because all the other horses would be so much younger than me. But off to the races we went with Paul by my side. One day, after a very long trailer ride, we pulled up to a county fair that was a long way from home in northern Michigan. My very good friend, Mr. McGee, was going to drive me that day. It had been a very long summer, and I was getting tired, and all the other horses in the race were half my age or even younger. We started the race, and I was in third place by the time the race was half over. My legs hurt, and every muscle in my body ached, and I didn't think that I could go on. I glanced over and I saw Paul in the grandstand cheering his very hardest for me. I hadn't won a race for him all summer. I knew I had to win this race for him. At my age, I didn't know how many more races I could do. I would be able to race, so that I gave it everything I had, and I passed all those horses coming down the stretch. And as I crossed the finish line, everyone in the grandstand was on their feet cheering, and I heard the announcer say, "You are witnessing history, folks. This is Derek Bromack, the oldest winning racehorse in the whole country." I was so happy. Me, Derek Bromack, the horse that was never supposed to race again, a winner. That was my very last win, and I will remember it forever. After a few more county fairs, I decided to retire from racing. I had raced for 13 years and won 28 out of the 288 races that I had been in. That's a lot. My travels took me to 2 countries, 12 different states, and 28 different racetracks. Not many horses have traveled as far as I have. Even though I wasn't racing anymore, I still had plenty of work to do. Paul had so much to learn, and I had so much to teach him. I even taught him to crawl on my back and take me for a ride. Every year, I get to go to the Midwest Horse Fair in Madison, Wisconsin, and teach thousands of people about standardbreds and harness racing. I have told my story to so many people. I've been in parades, schools, nursing homes, and I've been on TV. I have met so many people, and I have so many more people to meet, and maybe someday I'll get to meet you too. That was my story. Thank you so much for listening to it. You can contact me on Facebook if you'd like to order. Otherwise, we are also available on Amazon at Love to Race. Thank you so much.